Bonsai update. Feels good to be back. What's going on, boys? I hope you guys are doing well. If you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe because there's a ton of stuff coming up. And you know what? Hold on. Copyright. So I got a new project car, and you know, I wanted to do one of, what's my project car? I wanted to do one of those things, but you know, dude, I'm not really about that. I do this channel for fun. It's obviously not my livelihood. I just love doing car builds, and you know, I might as well try and like monetize it a little bit, or at least take you all along for the journey. And plus, it does help when I go to sell the car that I can show what I've done and have it be documented. Anyway, different subject. I got a new project car. I've been trying to hide it. I haven't been doing well. If you follow my Instagram, you will know what it is, obviously. I'm just gonna show you guys because I'm tired of trying to hide it. Here we go, boys. 2006 997.1 Carrera C2. And what is the deal with this guy? Well, I'll tell you what the deal is. It's got a blown motor, but it's not that bad that I know of. I mean, I'm still going, well, okay, so here's what happened. Basically, the engine is hydro-locked, but you can start the engine. So what happens is, if you drain all the oil from the motor, refill it with engine oil, and start it, it will start, but cylinder number 3 fills with oil. So to me, not being an engine builder, but just knowing a little bit about it, that would insinuate that the rings are bad in cylinder number 3 in some form or fashion. I don't know, some way they're not expanding like they should. So cylinder 3 fills with oil. Now I could go the simple route of probably just doing a standard rebuild, but that's no fun. That's not why I got the car. So what my plan is I plan to drop the motor myself, which should be interesting because I've never worked on a Porsche ever, but drop the motor. And then this motor is the M96, since it's just a normal C2. It's not the Carrera S with the M97. So it's an M96, and you can take, it's a 3.6 liter, I believe. You can take this to a 4 liter. Yeah, you can take it to like a 4.3, I believe. But I'm going to bore it out, have someone bore it out and rebuild it to around a 4 liter, I believe. There's a company called Flat 6 Innovations. Their wait is like, literally it's like a year and a half for an engine build, and you have to ship them the entire car. They won't do just an engine build and ship you back the engine. They like to do like everything, not to mention it's like crazy expensive. I would love to do that, but again, I want to do the work myself as well. That's why I did all this. So I have a buddy here in Austin who owns a shop, GT International. They also have done some engine builds. So I think I'm going to partner with them, not partner, have them do it. I think I'm going to partner with them on this engine build, which I'm jacked about. So I haven't put a timeline to this yet because, you know, it's a major overhaul. These engine builds are not cheap at all. I mean, they're expensive. Now, a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, well, why didn't you just get a running one? And I mean, the paint isn't as bad. It's just a reflection. It's got great paint. I think there's been some body work done on this side, which you can't really see. I think it may have gotten in a little bit of an accident. It does show an accident on the Carfax, but it's also a clean title, so that's okay. I mean, there's things wrong with it. Like obviously that's not right. That's not good. But again, I got it. Well, let me show you this too. I mean, the interior, super clean. I'm gonna be redoing all this anyway, so that doesn't really matter. But I mean, I'm so jacked for this. I'm so stoked. 105,000 miles, I believe, and I got it for right around 13 grand. I tried to get it for 10. The guy would post it at 15. He had a bunch of offers, and I literally had to make my way from Texas, where I live, to, where did I go to get it? Alabama? Yeah, he was on like the southwestern side of Alabama, so I had to drive from Texas through New Orleans to like Alabama area. And I literally had to go ASAP. Like I had to literally hung up with him on like a Thursday and started driving there on a Friday. U-Haul trailer, 3 flat tires. It was a nightmare. I should have recorded it, but I didn't because I didn't know when I would actually be able to show you this. But yeah, that's the deal. That is the new project car. I'm like beyond jacked. I'll tell you guys my plans a little later, but I do know, I have a good idea what I'm going to do with the body. And you guys know I'm an OEM plus type of, I don't know if you want to say builder, but that's my style. I like OEM plus. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be expensive, but it does lead me to the question of like, what do I do with, I don't know, the E36. I don't know, man. I could get some money for that. But anyway, today we are working on this because I want to get this back up and running. So you can see I have all the things needed for cooling replacement. CFS oil cooler, what else? CSF DCT cooler, which I guess you still use even though it's a manual. New radiator, new OEM fan, and then I got a few other things that I will talk to you guys about a little later. But for now, I've been talking long enough. I am going to get the E92 jacked up in the air and start taking off that Turner Motorsport skid plate because that thing is a bear in it. Oh yeah, that thing's a bear in itself. But I also got this. Hotchkiss front and rear sway bars. Totally forgot about these. That might be a little more annoying because I believe you have to drop the rear subframe to get that out. So that could suck. I don't know. I think I should be able to easily do the front on its own, but the rear may be a little bit annoying. I'm not entirely sure. So anyway, let me get to it. All right, so we are jacked up. And the first thing I'm going to do is crawl under here and start to take off this skid plate because this thing is an absolute monster. So I'm gonna start to take this off. That'll really open up the that'll open everything up so I can see what's really going on under here. So Allen wrench time. All right, skid plate removed, and we have evidence. That's no good. That's no good. That's no good. This can't be good. All right, so I'm gonna have to clean this up at some point. For right now, I will put it right here. Now, let's see if we can identify anything else. All right, bros, here we go. That's not good. So, there's a few things with this. First, let me just do it this way. People have been saying to check my motor mounts, which I'm going to do because generally speaking, these fans only break when the motor shifts in some form or fashion. These motor mounts are brand new, so I doubt that's the issue, and just in case, I do have a backup set. But what I think was probably the cause is that fan, this car, has about 180,000 miles on it in Texas heat. I really think the fan was just old, brittle, it's plastic. I mean, when you have that many miles in this type of heat, things are bound to break. Things are bound to go bad. Hoses, plastic pieces, belts, things like that, they're bound to go bad. I think that's the root cause, but I'm still gonna check the motor mounts while I'm under here to make sure those are fine. But for now, I wanna see what that punctured or what that broke because this was spewing coolant all over the place. So something is damaged. I think it's a radiator, but I'm gonna check the lines as well. So let's dive into it a little more. All right, boys, sit rep. So I took the air box off to give myself room because this hose really needs to be, well, obviously it needs to be unplugged, but you can really only access it with the air box taken out. So taking off the air box, not a hard thing to do, just right over there. That radiator hose right there, this guy, was an absolute pain in the butt. That thing sucked really bad, but that wasn't, I mean, all in all, that wasn't too hard. And then the radiator just mounts with two little like Allen screws or something right up in here, and then on this other side, and then it's just pulling it up and making way for yourself. So overall, not too bad to get it out. Yeah, it definitely, I mean, if this hadn't have happened, it would have been a good time for a radiator replacement anyway. I mean, let me see if I can, yeah, this thing got knackered. I mean, I would assume it's that down there, but I mean, this definitely, yeah, this thing got absolutely hammered. It looks like that is it. But I'm still gonna check out the hoses to see if there's anything more obvious that I'm missing here. So, radiator out, fan out. I may look at what the oil cooler has to do, because I should probably do that before I do the radiator. So I'm gonna watch some YouTube videos to see what I should do now. Oh, nice. I dropped this. This is more so a test to see if it still works. Alright, so got the radiator pulled like I showed you. Starting to look at the oil cooler stuff, and decided it'd be easier to just take off the front bumper. So I did that to gain access to these oil cooler mounting brackets or mounting bolts. So those are there. Now, one thing I will say with the CSF stuff, I just was made aware, well, I found this out when doing some research. If your car has a production year of like January, February, March of 08 or earlier, then you're probably going to have different oil cooler lines, and you'll have to get updated lines. And they're not cheap. They're like 250 bucks each, I think. So this car was made in 03 of 08. Yeah, in March of 08. So I'm not entirely sure if these oil cooler lines will work or not. So I'm going to start unboxing all the coolant stuff that I have and kind of see what everything looks like and go from there. I'm not sure if it's dramatically different or just like tiny different. So anyway, I'm going to start unboxing some stuff and see what it looks like and then go from there. All right, boys, so oil cooler is out. Power steering cooler is out as well. To get that out, you're going to want to loosen the AC condenser. I believe that's what it's called. Loosen that so it can swing, because it rotates. There's a little spot right down here where you can unclip it and it can rotate out. That'll give you the lever or the room you need to slide the power steering cooler, which goes right here, out from under there. So once you get this popped out, then you'll be able to slide that out. So it's really not too difficult. Just be aware all this stuff is going to leak. It all has oil in it, so just realize that there will be some leaking. All right, boys, round two, day two. I just got the power steering line cooler installed, and there's a little bit of trimming. So just so you guys know, this is what I did to make it fit. Let me show you. So let me try and get my light in here. All right, so how can I do this? For all you guys complaining about production quality, I'm one man. I only have two hands. Lay off. So right here, there's a little clip that goes in the original power steering cooler. And you're going to have to trim that little plastic tab that comes out of there, because that prevents this shroud from going this way far enough, which locks your AC condenser into place. So you're going to have to trim that little clip. Also, this holder right here, this section of the power steering pump holder, or power steering, do manual focus, this holder right here, this is too long, so it goes out this way too much, and it hits this piece as it bends, which again stops this shroud from being able to come over this way far enough. So you have to trim that piece. I trimmed I trimmed that much off mine. So there's a couple sections, and I trimmed, hey, get back over there. I trimmed that much off, so roughly like, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, somewhere around there. And both trimming that and trimming this piece allowed it to where the AC condenser can now lock into place. So if you guys are doing this install on your own, there's not really too much documentary on it. I did read one post by someone that said they had to do a little plastic trimming to get the power steering cooler to fit, so I'm assuming that's what they had to do as well. I emailed CSF, but it's Sunday and I'm impatient and I really don't want to wait for their response. So this should work, this should be fine, because once I put the radiator in place too, that's going to lock it all together. And in fact, when I took my radiator out, my AC condenser wasn't locked into place at all either. So perhaps that was the other thing. Maybe something shifted and hit the fan. But anyway, not too much talking. That's what you have to do to make that fit. So just so you know, that's in there. All right, boys. So got the radiator in, got the radiator fan in. I will say this hose, connecting it to the radiator down there, right there. Let me see. Down, it's hard to show you guys, but down there, really big pain in the butt to get that clip in there, okay? But you know, just keep messing with it. I'm like 99% sure mine's attached all the way. So now I just filled some fluid, some radiator fluid, some power steering fluid. I know I'm low on oil because the oil cooler leaked oil, but I don't know how much. So what I'm going to do is turn the car on, get the fluid cycling to see if anything is leaking, and then try and get an oil measurement to see how much oil I need to add, and then go from there. I mean, I don't really know what else to do, so I believe that is my next step. Let's see what happens. Alright, bros. So, got everything put back together, started it up, everything runs smoothly. Except for my ability to pour some fluids, everything went well. This, I believe, the E92, and don't quote me on this, I'll look this up, but I believe this is a self-bleeding system. Meaning you don't have to bleed the radiator, I believe. But again, I'm going to confirm that. But just in case I don't put it in the video, yeah, I think it's a self-bleeding system. I think that's what this is for, but again, I could be wrong. Why are you on manual focus? So, all right, we got the new power steering cooler, we got the new oil cooler, we got the new radiator and fan in. And let's see, now I think what I'm going to do is install the front strut bar, because that's, you know, easy to do. And then, you know what, I'm going to leave that for another video, because I also have this P3 gauge for, well, because I want to be able to see what's actually going on here. Because right now I'm just using the BMW gauges. So I think I'm going to leave that for another video, because that's quite a bit more work and I don't know how long this video is. But you know, I mean, in this video we did the oil cooler, we did the power steering cooler, and we did the radiator and OEM fan. And I'll quickly recap. Radiator was pretty straightforward, OEM fan pretty straightforward. The oil cooler, again, if your car has a production date earlier than 04 of 08, I believe, you're going to need different oil cooler lines. I didn't need them, so apparently mine is okay. And then the power steering cooler, oh gosh, the power steering cooler, again, that trimming of the shroud, that's all you really have to do to make that work. So trim that shroud on the driver's side and it'll fit fine. And then just button everything back up. So I think next video I'm going to try and do the front sway bar and those P3 gauges, because I know the rear sway bar requires rear subframe to be dropped, which is going to take a little more time. And I want to re-jack the car, because apparently you're not supposed to have a car jacked up on epoxy floors like that. I'm supposed to use like some sort of mat or something. I don't know. I didn't know that. So if you guys are new to the channel, man, smash that subscribe. I hope to be getting a lot more stuff done. And then again, we got the Porsche back there, which I cannot wait to get to work on. So, and I got E36 content coming. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.